So here we are with the too low. So I realized the too low is way too wide for the standard skid plate that I designed. I mean, you can still mount it there in both sides, in both ways. But given the fact that I put it so far on the corner to use like standard kind of transfer case, it does sits a lot too much on the left, and the rear shaft it's coming almost out of the skid, meaning it's gonna be hard to mount a drive shaft there. It's gonna be probably crashing the frame rails. So it's gonna be hard because the frame is gonna be like here, right? So there's no real space to put the drive shaft, and the shaft is so much on the side that it will create a crazy angle to the rear axle. And this one is not even centered, so for centered Papkins axles, that's not going to be great. Ideally, it would be around here, so kind of centered, still enough space to mount a motor, and with the drive shaft a bit more centered on the rear as well. Now, the problem with this is that I designed this kit to be 70 millimeters or 72 millimeters wide, and the skid that comes with this transmission is 78, which I think should work just fine. So 78 is still good to design any normal crawler. So I designed this new skid plate, which has a couple things. So it's especially designed to mount this transfer. This is not my best print, by the way. I printed pretty fast just to test it out. And now the holes makes the transmission fit right in the middle. And I did the same slot, so you can choose to put it further forward or further behind, depending on how much space you need for clearance for the motor, if you have a short motor, long motor, whatever you're trying to do, and also to adjust for the drive shaft length. Thing is still on the side, you're still gonna have an angle, so probably you want it as forward as possible to bring the weight forward, and also to allow more distance for the drive shaft to take that angle on the rear. On the front, this is not 100% centered, but it's pretty centered and still allowing. I made the math so the motor has enough space. And then I designed this in such a way that it has this little curve there. And that curve continues having the distance between the two mounting points. So the point is that you can move forward and then you can angle it. And it follows that circumference, that arc. So I've seen people mounting the too low with an angle, right? Why? Because it gives you more clearance for motor, and it gives you a better angle for the rear shaft without going too crazy on the front. Especially if you have a center pumpkin, like a little angle is fine. So I added that so people can, to have it like this. So I'm gonna mount it real quick and show you guys how it looks. Here it is. So that's, let me focus. Okay, that's how it looks. Wider stance. So if you can, if you guys want to compare how wider it is, 72 millimeters versus 78. It's not a lot wider. It's just a bit. Yeah, that's how much wider it is. It's just 6 millimeter wider. So it's not a lot of difference, just a little bit. And then, so the other cool thing, so let's say you're mounting a short motor here. You can do the same thing on this one. You can just pull it back, and then you will have enough space to mount a motor here without touching the frame rail. But that also worked. Right now I have it all the way forward. I could pull it all the way back and have a lot of space for a small motor here. It could go all the way down here. so you'll have still a lot of space for a motor. I've seen a lot of people doing that. Now, if you're doing a longer motor, like this is a big fat motor, right? But pretty standard size. This fits barely here. It does hits the frame. So with a little, it will twist the frame if I put it right. So then what I would do is, just give it a little angle, as I've seen people doing it, and that's for why this trajectory here is. So I'm gonna twist it a little bit just to fit the motor and show you guys in a second. Here it is. So I mounted this motor, and I just removed that that bolt there just to let it play freely. So this is what I'm talking about. So you can adjust the angle of it till it hits the frame. So right there it's not hitting anything, right? You could go that. I mean, I've seen people doing that crazy angle, but I think that's too crazy, to be honest. I wouldn't recommend it. But you could go like until you touch it, right? And then let's say there. And then with that little angle, you need to mount a bit further up into that corner, and then the motor would fit perfectly. That's as shown here. And then you will get a little nice angle to link the drive shaft with the rear axle, and then you will have a bit of a nasty angle in the front. But if it's center pumpkin, that's actually perfect because it helps clear the motor, right? Because you will have the drive shaft coming out here and then going straight to your front axle. So yeah, it gives more options. You can still use this one. It depends what motor you're using. If you're using a short motor, like this one still works perfectly. If you're using a longer motor, probably this won't fit. This won't allow. I mean, it will, but the as I show you guys, the rear shaft is gonna have a hard time hitting these frame rails. So I'm not sure if I recommend that. Well, it's just to give more options to you guys. I'm gonna add also a 78 millimeter wide skid plate with this design as well, so people can choose whatever they want depending on their needs. All right, cool.